Hi, my name is Lexi. Welcome back to my channel, and today I just want to talk about why I started intermittent fasting. Okay, so I have talked before about why I started alternate day fasting, which is the pattern of fasting that I do currently, but I haven't really talked a whole lot about why I started intermittent fasting in the first place, because I did not start with alternate day fasting. So I kind of just wanted to do a little story time and talk to you guys about why I started and just sort of what that has been like and what it was like in the beginning and everything that led up to that point. So I did sort of briefly talk about this on my episode on the Fasting Highway podcast, which was episode 93, and I will link that below if you'd like to listen to it. But I'm also going to tell my story here. So basically, when I got married and started having kids, I started to struggle with my weight, and I gained a good amount of weight with each pregnancy and lost some of it, but not all of it, between each pregnancy. So I have 4 kids. They are now currently ages 6 through 15. So basically, I just got into this pattern of between each pregnancy, I would try to lose the weight from the previous pregnancy, and I would be somewhat successful, and I wouldn't worry too much about it because I knew that I was going to have another child. We knew we were going to have 3 or 4 kids. So I knew I was going to be gaining again. So I didn't really totally worry about what I was going to do long term or anything. I just sort of was in this cycle of, getting pregnant, gaining weight, and I gained between 40 and 50 pounds with each pregnancy. And my babies did not weigh that much. They were big babies, but not that big. So I was left with some extra weight. A lot of it would come off, and then I would gain again for the next pregnancy. And so then after I had my 4th child and I knew we were done, I was like, okay, now I need to figure out what to do. And I didn't think it was going to be that hard because I had been able to, lose weight successfully in the past without trying too hard. But newsflash, it was hard. And so I tried some different things, and I really didn't want to do anything extreme. I think the only extreme diet I did was between my 2nd and 3rd child. I did something called the ideal protein diet, which was extremely low carb, extremely low fat, extremely low calorie, low enjoyment, just super starving all the time. I didn't want to do anything like that. So I did some, programs that were more like whole foods oriented, still kind of low calorie, and they were okay. And I was just trying to figure out what was going to work for me long term, and what would make me feel my best and all of that. And so anyway, I had some kind of success, but it was yo-yo dieting, basically, up and down, up and down. So in 2017, what happened was kind of funny. My husband and I were both turning 35. I was turning 35 and he was turning 40. And we wanted to switch over our life insurance. And I knew that to do that, we would have to do health exams, And so I was in the overweight category. And so I figured we would get a better rate if I could get down to the normal weight category. And so that was my goal at that point. I can't remember what I was at. I think I was around 190 at that point, and I'm 5'11", just for reference. So I was about 190, I think. And so I wanted to get down to the normal BMI category to be able to get a better rate on our life insurance. And so I had a couple months to be able to do this because my birthday was coming up. And, because once you pass a certain bracket, the rate also goes up. And so all of this was just to get a better rate on my life insurance. We were trying to start it before we turned those ages. So I had been hearing about the keto diet, and it just sounded really good. It sounded really promising. There was one YouTuber that I watched that was doing it, and she had a lot of success and said she felt amazing and all of this. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give that a try. And I did. And this was in 2017 in the fall. And so I tried the keto diet, and I did not do it in any complicated way. I didn't count macros at this point. I just kind of looked at all of the foods that I knew were super low carb, and I cut out all of the high carb foods. So I was eating really simple. It was just like basically meat and vegetables and cheese and maybe some nuts. But just super simple. Didn't try any of like the keto treats or anything like that. It just kept it super simple. And I did drop weight really fast. And so I got down to 175. And that wasn't at that point, that wasn't like my goal weight in mind. That wasn't the weight that I thought I should be, because before I had kids, I was between like 155 and 165. And so I thought that would probably be, maybe around 165, I thought would be a good weight for me. But I got down to 175, which was in the normal weight category. So I hit that deadline and did my exams, and we got the good rate and all of that. But immediately after that, we went on a trip to Universal Studios Hollywood for our anniversary. And I stopped weighing myself and I stopped doing keto. And it was then the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, yada, yada, all of that. And I didn't do keto, didn't weigh myself. And then after the holidays, I was 200 pounds. And that was the first time outside of being pregnant or nursing that I had ever been over 200 pounds. And I was like shocked. And so then that's where it started, that I kind of went into this on and off keto phase of my life. And this was 2018 to kind of spring of 2019. So, and what happened was I didn't do keto the way that I originally did, just keeping it really simple, because in my mind I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm one of these people that just can't eat sugar and carbs, and so I need to make this enjoyable for myself. So I need to find like new recipes and, find some ways to like enjoy it more. And I want to say that when I did keto the first time, and I just did it really simple, I felt really good. I felt really, really good. Had a lot of energy. I just felt really good. But it was kind of hard because I felt limited. So when I went into keto these subsequent times, which was very on and off, I was trying all these keto treats, right? And so I was making like the keto cheesecake with like cream and, cream cheese and all of the sweeteners and all of that, and just like overdoing it on all of those things for sure. And I definitely did not feel as good on these times that I was doing keto. And so flash forward, and in 2018 also it was really difficult because my mom went into hospice, and I was traveling back and forth from Nevada to Utah to see her on weekends, and it was just a really hard time. She passed away, and then my paternal grandparents both passed away within 6 weeks of each other, a couple months after my mom passed away. So it was a hard year, and I was just kind of trying to hold it together. And so like, when I could, I would do keto. When I couldn't, I was off of it. And, again, yo-yoing, gaining and losing weight. So then in 2019, I was about to go to Disney World with my family, and I was a little bit higher, closer to 200 pounds than I wanted to be. So I was like, okay, before this trip, I need to lose some weight, and this was like the previous mentality that I always had, that a lot of people have. It's like, before I go on vacation, I want to lose weight. Before this wedding, I want to lose weight. And that was totally where I was. So I was like, I want to drop some weight because I know I'm going to gain weight. So I don't want to gain as much weight. So I'm going to lose weight, whatever. Okay. So like, what I did was I was going to do keto. I was kind of doing keto anyways, but I also, at this point, I had learned about intermittent fasting. And so I was sort of dabbling with that. And, I'd done some 16/8, and then I had heard about OMAD. And so at this point, I was like, I'm going to do 10 days of OMAD before my trip. And so I started out, I think at like 198. And so I did OMAD for like 8 days. And then my hunger was so low during this time when I was doing OMAD and keto that I was like, I'm just gonna go for like a full day fast. And at this point, I had not done any like full day fast. And so I did. I actually ended up doing a 60-hour fast. So I fasted for 2 days. And it was actually not that hard. And so I did that, and I had dropped in this time period 10 pounds. So I was down to 188 before I left on this trip. And the reason this is so like seared in my brain is because of what happened afterwards. And that was, I went on this trip and I ate all the carbs and I felt like garbage, just absolute garbage. And knowing what I know now, it's obvious why I would feel like garbage. Not only going from keto to eating very high carb and processed junk, but doing a 2-day fast and then eating like that. Such a bad idea. Like, I just didn't understand or know anything about properly breaking a fast, or especially with longer fasts at this point, that I just made those mistakes. And so I had no idea. And so that was really unfortunate because it did kind of interfere with my trip and just made me feel yucky most of the time. I still enjoyed it, but it was physically, I just did not feel good at all. And so after that trip, I weighed myself and I was 203 pounds. And so in the span of 10 days from the last time that I had weighed myself, I gained 15 pounds. And yes, a lot of that was water weight. I now like can see a lot of these things. It's like when you're fasting and you're also not eating carbs and you start eating a lot of carbs, you're going to retain a lot of water. So yes, I was retaining a lot of water. I'm sure it would have come off quickly, but it just was staggering to me to see that much of a gain in such a short time. And so in that moment, for me personally, I realized that I had to get off of this like yo-yo train, and that for me, the keto diet was not sustainable. And I know that it is for a lot of people and that they love it. And like I said, I felt really good when I was doing like clean keto, but it took out a lot of foods that I really enjoy and that actually work well with my body. So I know that that's not the case for everyone, but for me, I just decided that I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't be going on and off of it, on and off of it, on and off of it. And I see a lot of people, and the person that I originally learned about keto from still to this day goes on and off, on and off, on and off. And I see her, going through this cycle of just like, keto, feeling really good, making a lot of progress, and then months of being off and just feeling really bad and regaining weight and stuff. And so I think the point is just that for some people, it can become a sort of binge and restrict cycle. And I'm not saying that keto is massively restrictive and that it is for a lot of people, because I realize that it works really well for some people, can be life-saving. But for me personally, it was just a negative cycle and I didn't want to be a part of that anymore. And so I decided then and there that I really believed in intermittent fasting because I had read The Obesity Code by Jason Fung at this point, and it just made a lot of sense to me. And I believed in the science behind fasting. I believed in the health benefits and that I could find a way to lose weight while still eating the foods that I enjoy, that work well for me. And so I decided then and there that I would not have any diet restrictions, but I was going to fast. And so my plan at this point was to do some OMAD and some TMAD, which is 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day, alternating them, because I wasn't ready to do, like, OMAD was really hard for me when I was eating carbs. Um, it was hard for me to get to dinner time, and I wanted to eat at dinner time because I wanted to eat with my family. Um, but it was really difficult for me, so I wanted to kind of alternate OMAD with 2 meals a day. And so I did that for a while, and it just got really complicated. I was really overcomplicating it. And I actually ended up gaining some weight. So, and that's not really super surprising either now that I think about it, because again, I was coming off of keto, then reintroducing carbs. And so there was a lot of mental and physical factors going into that. But I did gain some weight. And so I ended up at 209 pounds, which then brought me to alternate day fasting. And that's when I decided I needed to try that and do something different. And I ended up loving it. Wasn't expecting to, thought I was going to hate it, thought I was just going to have to grit through it and get it done. But I ended up loving it. And so that brings me to today. Almost in September, it'll be 3 years that I will be doing alternate day fasting. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of give some background of where I came to fasting. I believe in it. I do. I think that there is a pattern of intermittent fasting that can work for just about everyone, whether that is OMAD or alternate day fasting or even 12 hours eating window, you know. I think everybody can benefit from some type of digestive rest more than what we are getting now. And so that's why I started this channel, was just to share my experiences, because I know that a lot of people struggle with some of the aspects of starting to fast and maintaining a fasting lifestyle, but it can have so many benefits, and most of those are not on the scale, actually. And so you really need to listen to the stories of people, the health conditions that they've reversed, the way they've improved their lives, myself included, and that's why we do it. So if you'd like to share with me in the comments why you started fasting and what sort of benefits you found from fasting, I would love to hear it. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.